Just close the door.
What war and branch of service do you serve in? What was the war and branch of service you served in?
I was in the Army for 2 years, August the 4th, 1966 to August the 2nd, 1968.
You forgot something.
It's okay, go ahead.
Okay, today is Friday, October 15th, 2010. And we are interviewing Mr. Steve Speicher. Mr. Speicher is 66 years old, and he was born on October 2nd, 1944. Our names are Jackie, Kyle, and Isaac. And we will be the interviewers. Mr. Speicher is an Army vet.
What was your rank?
Well, you had two kinds of ranks. You had colonels, enlisted men, sergeants, and all that. But I was a specialist. NCOs, like Roger was, they were in charge of men. Me, I was in charge of machines. So, but I was a Spec 4, E4.
Where did you serve?
Well, I went to Fort Knox, did my basic down there. Then I went to Fort George G. Meade, Maryland for the rest of my time. 1 year and 10 months.
How many years were you in the service?
2.
Can you tell me about adapting to military life?
Well, you do that very quickly. Yeah, they throw you in with a bunch of other guys, and you have to learn to get along. And discipline, oh my. NCO says jump, you jump. You know, if you don't say how high, you're okay. But he says how high, you're in a hurt. But it was just a good experience. It's like you kids. You don't behave at home, mom paddles you, right?
Yeah, I guess.
But there I don't get paddled.
How did you choose your branch and service you served in?
I got a brown envelope in the mail that says, "Welcome to the United States Army." I was drafted.
What kind of training did you have?
Horrible. Start off with, in basic, we just had run here, run there, orders, regiment, and all that. But when I got to where I was going, I was a dental technician. So when I got there, I had to learn what all the instruments were, procedures were to work with dentists, and that sort of thing.
Did you form any friendships?
Oh yeah, you form friendships, or may not be everlasting, but while you're there you have friends, and you may see each other after you get out a while, but pretty soon they fade away.
Where did you serve?
Fort George G. Meade, Maryland. I didn't go overseas to Vietnam.
Were there any kind of actions or duties away from the front line?
Yeah, take care of the furnace, make sure it don't get cold. And just KP, and we had at the dental clinic, we had a room that stayed open all night in case somebody had to come in, bad toothache or something. They came in, we took care of them. So, let me ask you kids something. You know what these are?
Dog tags.
You ever handle them?
I've had one with my name on it.
I have one.
I've never had it.
Okay, let me ask you, how come there's 2 of them hanging like that?
Right.
Okay, the one around your neck, and that one in her left hand there, if you get, excuse the expression, if you get killed or whatever, they grab the little one and they notify your parents, and they leave the big one on you to identify you. It's not something to look forward to. Stephen Scott Speicher, my church religion, but boy, don't ask me my number.
Is it blood type?
Hmm?
Don't these have a blood type on them?
I don't know.
Sure. The reason they have a blood type is if, see that, he's got blood type A. In case you get wounded or something, they know automatically, they can look at your dog tags and they don't give you the wrong kind of plasma if you get wounded. That's why that information is on there. The religion is on there so they can be the right type of religious person around or something like that. And then of course his serial number, where it's a US, means he was drafted. But that's what that designation's for. Mine had an O on it, because it's a different type of blood stuff on it. So these things give you more information than just your name and everything.
How did you stay in touch with those back home?
I'll stand by on an airplane. See, I wasn't too far. Indiana's not too far to Maryland from here, so I'd get on the airplane. And
Where is Fort Meade?
it's in Maryland. I don't know. I was trying to think of the town, and I could not think of the town. All I know is Fort George G. Meade, Maryland.
What did you do for recreation or off-duty activities?
Well, we played sports, and there's always playing cards. Then, when I was at, I think the first Super Bowl was in '66 or '65, and they was all bidding. All that sort of thing. But it's just like you kids, we just sports and girls and more girls. You'll find that out. Let's hope not.
Were you still overseas when the war ended?
No, I was never overseas. See, my branch of service was different. I was drafted, so I was U.S. I'm in a 2-year term. Now, for me to go overseas or anything, I would have had to join the regular Army, which is RA, and give another year for 3 years. That way, then I could be shipped anywhere. But
How did you return home?
Mom came and got me. My mom and dad came and got me. Brought me home in a car.
Was there a reception by family or community?
No. No, I just went in the house. That was it.
So it wasn't family or community?
No.
How hard was it to return to civilian life?
Well, see, I'd had a lot of civilian life in there because you get 30 days a year off as vacation. Well, I would come home in the spring and in the fall and help Dad farm. So when I got out, it was just a continuation of what I was doing. So there wasn't no difficult.
Are you a member of a veterans organization?
No.
After the war, did you have any contact with fellow veterans?
Yeah. Yeah, across White Pigeon, Michigan, one of them was there. Rochester, Indiana was with there, and I didn't see any of them except for one after I got out. Saw him a couple times, but that was the end of it.
How has being in the military affected your life?
Well, I got a wife.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, it's been good. I mean, it's been a good experience, and you'll find out too later on in life that there's a lot of benefits for being in the service. So, overall, I liked it.
Lessons learned? Lessons learned?
Now you just keep your mouth shut. I found that out to be
Is there anything we forgot to ask you?
Well, I didn't do really anything exciting, so there was nothing. It was just, in a way, it was like a 8 to 5 job, civilian job, but it wasn't. Because when we are in basic, you know, you see Beetle Bailey sitting there with a big pile of potatoes and a knife. Well, we were beginning to use potato peelers, automatic potato peelers. So, here, peel potatoes.
I have a little.
I don't like peeled potatoes. So that was nice. Then we had in basic we had to experience tear gas. You put on your mask, you go in this room, you had to take your mask off and stand there for a little bit. Then you come out and you were coughing and gagging and all that stuff. And I tell you, tear gas is nothing to fool with.
I have a question. What kind of food did you eat?
Good food. At the hospital, it was, I think in basic, it was good food, but it was prepared by any Tom, Dick, and Harry. So, but what happened was, one thing about food, if you had a class on something going on in Vietnam, you couldn't attend it because you were peeling potatoes. Well, in time, they did away with the servicemen doing the food. They hired outsiders to come in so the serviceman could spend all his time in classroom to learn how to live in Vietnam. So,
Did you ever get to fight in Vietnam?
I never made it there.
Did you ever fight in any war?
No. No, I was old enough for Vietnam, too young for Korea, and too old for Iraq. So,
What is KP?
kitchen police. And that's just exactly what it says. Kitchen police, you just peel potatoes. You got to keep everything clean, washed, and nobody ever wanted KP because you had a date that night and you were on KP, you didn't get the date.
Did you have any friends die during the wars?
Well, I tell you what. Now you never think about this on a military base, but where I was, there was 8 people killed, 8 soldiers killed. Auto wrecks, fights, all that kind of things. So you always think of a killing being at the battlefront, right? Well, there's a lot of it. It's not planned that way. A lot of it just happens.
You guys never played Russian roulette, right?
No, we didn't have any weapons.
That's good.
No, when I was in basic, you got paid cash. So you all lined up, went to this table, and there's the first sergeant, sergeant major with the big pile of cash like that. There was a 9mm pistol. That's the only pistol I ever saw was that one, and boy, I wasn't going to argue with that one. So he was there to guard the money when they paid you. I said, you don't even pay me. How much you kids get for allowance?
Usually I get like either $5 to $10.
Let's see, I got $20 for a whole month.
I got 15.
50.
For doing the trash. I don't really do. I don't really get allowance. It's usually just like birthday money and stuff. What does DRO mean?
DR, I have no idea. Something like room only, probably.
Did you ever have any enemy soldiers attack the base you were in?
Not that I know of. Down there at Fort Meade, we were pretty well protected. They had Nike missiles along the coast. You ever hear of Nike missiles? You weren't allowed near them, but you could drive up Highway 50 and you could see the bases. But
Were they automatic or were they man by man?
well, their missiles, they would have been manned. And if it had guidance systems on them to aim towards the enemy and all that.
I wish my great grandpa was alive. He got bombed at Pearl Harbor.
Oh. Pearl Harbor, that was before my time.
Did you have weekend duty?
see, I can't recall what it was called, but yes, if you're, let's say that a dentist has to be on duty all the time. Well, he's got to have an assistant. Well, a lot of times I was the assistant, but far as, oh, we had to keep the barracks clean, we had to keep our cots made and everything. So just general things like that.
Did you ever have a storm that like damaged the base or anything?
Had a what?
Did you ever have a really bad storm that damaged the base at all?
I was on the tail end of a hurricane one time. And boy, you talk about a wind. See, here we are I don't know how far we are from the ocean, but boy, that wind was fierce.
Did it destroy the entire base or did it just...
No, it might have done some damage, I don't know, but we didn't like it.
The water be able to get inside your base?
What?
Was the water able to get inside the base?
No, all we got was the wind.
Did you have a car or a bicycle?
Had a car. I drove the car on base and it got hit. The night I took it down, it got hit 3 more times while I was there. I traded off and got a Pontiac, took it down to the base, got to the base and it got hit. And it got hit, and it got hit, and it got hit, and it got hit, and the day I left, it got hit.
How many days, years, or weeks did it take you to go up to a specialist?
I think time I got out, it's just kind of a routine deal. When I got out of, huh?
Just kind of move on?
Yeah, but see, they had one specialist 5 opening come on. I didn't get it. But where I was at, there was just one thing available above Spec 4. That's just kind of a automatic thing.
Did you ever fly in a plane?
No,
Never?
just flew in it. First time I ever flew in a plane, I went from Kentucky somewhere, Louisville I suppose, to Baltimore. That was the only time, that's the first time I flew in a plane. Then I'd fly home on every now and then on what they call standby. They got a soldier, if you're standing there and they got an empty seat, well, you can have it at a half price or something like that.
Have you ever like moved out of the base and gone to a new one? Like,
Yeah, I was
at
at Fort Knox in Kentucky. Then I went to Fort George G. Meade in Maryland. That was the only 2 times. Well, the only time I moved. Hmm?
Did you ever have to eat something bad?
Well, no, not really. I know in basic, we missed a meal one time, but that's all.
Did you guys only have 1 meal or did you have 3 meals?
3 meals a day.
3 meals a day?
What was your favorite food that you had?
Well, the hospital where I ate, the clinic wasn't very far, our dental clinic, from the hospital, so we'd go there and eat. But they'd have hamburger gravy and biscuits. Oh, and milk. I never drank so much milk in all my life as I did there. You like milk? Good. But don't join the army just to get milk.
Oh, my second sword.
I got an F at all.
Did you guys ever get bombed?
Not that I know of.
I mean, like, did any of the bases near you get bombed or anything?
No, it was pretty well peacetime over here. It wasn't over in Vietnam, but here it was pretty well peacetime.
What kind of guns did you have?
I had an M14 rifle. I loved that thing.
Did you ever meet with the Russians? Exactly, they were fighting in Vietnam too.
No, Roger may have, but I never
Encountered a Russian?
encountered anybody.
How powerful was that gun that you said you had? Yeah.
Well, we had an expert marksman, 300 yards, he could hit the target. That was a father's target. He could knock that thing down consistently. And the closer the targets got, well, everybody got better the closer the targets got. But I was just a marksman. My problem was every time I shot, I blinked. I was scared to death of that gun.
Do you have any snipers in your squad?
I have no idea. Not in Maryland, because that was just a dental. I was just in a dental squad.
Did you ever get medals or awards for being in?
Oh, I think like everybody else, I got a good conduct medal. Then I got a medal for the rifle, marksman.
How old were you when you joined the Army?
I mean, 68. I was 20-something when I got drafted. 20. I was 24. Young. You guys all gonna join? It's just something. It's an option. My boy's he never joined. He wasn't interested, so wouldn't have hurt him.
Did you guys ever, I don't know, but did you ever get that, like badges on you, on the stuff you wore?
Yeah, we had. I just had the good conduct and the other one, but I don't know where they're at. My stepmom threw them away, threw my uniforms away, threw everything away.
I'd like to keep it as a memory.
Hey, you're right. I'd like to have it.
Did you go to church?
Yes. Never miss church.
Is it like an every Sunday thing, or?
I usually go to church Tuesdays, Sundays, and Wednesdays. That's when I have my church percentage.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah. Roger can probably tell you. You know where the Lord is.
Did you ever ride on a ship?
No, I've never. Only time I was on a ship, somebody took an OPT boat and made a fishing boat out of it, and we went fishing one week out on Chesapeake Bay.
Did you catch any fish?
That was kind of weird. I think they used squid for bait, but you just got a straight line, and on a pole, and you got 3 hooks on it.
Have you ever heard of the sergeant back in the World War II, Sergeant Roebuck?
What'd he do?
He was a sergeant and he died by China, the Japanese, whatever.
No, never heard of him.
Who were you fighting in there?
Mainly Congress. Our Congress. No, he's in Vietnam.
You
Or I
ever shoot a
wasn't.
gun?
Huh?
You ever shoot a gun?
Yeah, the M14. That's a good rifle. But the day I left, they gave us a coat when you went into service, a jacket. I can't think of the name of it now. But before you could get out of the Army, you had to turn that jacket in. And boy, those guys were. See, a lot of them, they had a little town next door, and a lot of guys needed money, so they'd take stuff over there and sell it. Well, they were selling their jackets right and left. Well, they found out they had to have a jacket to get home. They were buying them right and left. So, but it was a good jacket. Wish I could have kept it. I liked it.
You ever get wounded?
No. I had a buddy, he and I we walked to breakfast. And we were walking down the road, and he was on the outside, and we had this sergeant in our outfit. He was an Italian. He was an Italian stallion. Paul Drury. He come along, and this kid's 6:30 in the morning, dark as can be, and he's got sunglasses on. And he hit this kid walking. So that guy, it didn't hurt him too bad, but pretty well shook him up. But the guy still wore his sunglasses 6:30 in the morning.
Where did you guys eat breakfast at?
In the hospital.
You ate all your other meals there too, right?
Yeah.
What time was it when that hurricane came?
That'd been in 68.
1968? You know what, like, time?
In the summer. That's when
Was
most
it
of them.
around PM or AM?
Oh, nighttime.
Night?
How long was it?
I don't know for sure, but boy, it was long enough. Kids are doing fine. Let's see. We had some guys went AWOL, away without leave. Boy, when they found them, brought them back, it was. They put them in prison and everything else.
Did you ever think about going AWOL?
Well, you think about it all the time. But boy, you don't do it.
Probably not a good idea.
Has
No.
there ever been anybody that went AWOL but never got found?
Not in our outfit. No, we were pretty much adjusted to it and we was going to have to stay there and get through it. But they had when we got to the dental clinic, they had a list of who was going to Vietnam. And even though we weren't going, there's always a chance you are going. So we were always looking at that list, see if we were scheduled for Nam. We had two boys join the Army, our dental attachment. They joined, and one of them went to officer school, and the other one went to Nam, straight to Nam. So never heard any more from them. Yeah, we were a bunch of cowards.
What happens if you didn't return the jacket?
You don't get out of the Army. They just keep you doing, probably just keep you doing the same job you've been doing until you come up with a jacket.
Were your beds comfy or hard?
They were cots. Something you got to get used to.
Did you guys have bunk beds or like something?
Just well, we did in basic. We had bunk beds. When we got down to Fort Meade, we just had cots. And you had a locker about that wide, about 6 foot tall. And you had a trunk. What was that called? Foot locker in front of your cot. Now that was it.
Were there people who had short sleeve and long sleeve shirts?
No, you all dressed alike.
Were they all short sleeve or long sleeve?
Depending on the season.
Did you guys have other clothes like from home you could wear?
Oh yeah. Yeah, but the uniform, I was proud enough of it to be in the service. I seldom wore civilian clothes. I always wore my uniform. We had a couple different uniforms, khakis, which are light tan clothes. Then we had dark green, olive green clothes. No, when I was in service, I was a serviceman.
Do you remember the names of your friends, like on there?
No. Sorry to say, it's just, I'm getting the age memory lapses.
Did you see anybody in the hospital that you knew?
No, but we had to go down to Walter Reed Hospital in Washington, and we had to go up on the 3rd floor. That's where all, amputees are, don't you? People lost arms and legs and all that. We had to go up, and why, I don't know. It was the stupidest thing I ever heard of. But we had to go up there and walk down through them. And that's like now, if you go, I go at the Veterans Hospital and see these guys with missing legs and so forth. It's just, it's not a good sight. They can't help it, but it's just kind of like to put out there on display.
Is there anybody in the Army who had to get false teeth?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we pulled a lot of teeth. I even reached I wasn't allowed to do that. I couldn't pull teeth. This one guy's teeth were so loose, I reached up there with my finger and pulled them. Oh yeah, there's nothing dirtier than your mouth. And I could pretty much tell what part of the country you were from when I saw your teeth. If you're from out west, southwest, your teeth are usually mottled. White streaks going through them and all that. That's because of the fluoride in the water out there. Oh yeah, we had a general come into the clinic. They would get a red carpet out. And everywhere he walked, he'd have a red carpet going. And he had to come back to me one time. I had to x-ray his mouth, all his teeth. They had a red carpet. Come right back to my room. And I couldn't go to dinner. I had to sit there and x-ray his teeth and all that. Then he got up and somebody came along after him and rolled the carpet back up. Away he went. But, oh yeah, there was partialism. But he earned it.
What hospital were you just talking about? Which one was it? Washington?
Baltimore, south of Baltimore, Maryland. The clinic would have been the Woodward Medical Clinic. In the hospital, I can't remember it. I think it was Fort George G. Meade Hospital, where they had the best food.
How did you get those again?
I got drafted.
So you get them when you first start?
They give them to you automatically, yeah.
Oh.
Does everybody get?
Does everybody get them?
Civilians don't.
Who are those people?
Huh?
Who are those people?
Like you kids are. You're civilians. We are now.
Why did you join the army?
I didn't have any choice. I got this brown envelope.
So you couldn't argue or anything? It was just...
Well, you could. You had a group of people you go before, and a lot of times, see, like me, my dad was sick, and I had to help take care of him. But here he is at home yet. They made me go and told him to take care of Dad, so that's why I had to go.
So maybe when we're all grown ups, we might get a brown envelope saying we need to join the army?
No, they did away with.
Do that anymore.
Well, you put it this way. Right now they don't. But the way they're
But it
That's
could
a
happen
good
in the
question,
future.
young man.
yeah,
Make sure you write that down.
I like that.
You won't want to grow older if you get one of them envelopes, trust me.
You know, we went down the bus to Fort Knox, and there's a big sign, President Kennedy. Ask not what you can do for your country, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. I'll never forget that sign. 4 o'clock in the morning, there's that sign. We found out. Are you kids about done?
We have one more question.
Oh, yeah.
We don't have that.
We have one more question to ask you. Did any of your family members protest you to go into the army?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they did. My dad didn't want me to go because he needed help. And, well, Vietnam War was going on now. Boy, in a way, if you're in the Army, you're going to Vietnam, you're going to get killed. That was the attitude our family had. But, let's see what. When you went over in Vietnam, the infantry, every infantry soldier had 15 support troops to back him up. I would have been a support troop. Guys like me, and the cooks and the doctors and all those sort of people, mechanics, they were there for that purpose. So your chances of getting killed in a war could be pretty slim.
I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
Did you miss the people back home?
Oh yeah.
And the other one was... Oh, are you 2 related?
Yes,
Or brothers.
we're brothers. I'm the eldest and the smartest.
Youngest? Oh, oldest? You're smartest.
Okay, thank you. Thank
well.
you for serving our country.
Yeah.
Thank you.